everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Food and Farm Show. I'm Gil Dominguez.
And I'm Cheryl Noble. Today we are at the fairgrounds doing a preview for next week's big opening for the fair. And we're standing in front of the Ag-Sperience, which is going to be our home next week.
That's right. We're going to be here all week long at the Nevada County Fair. We'll be watching the showmanship judging. We'll see swine. We'll see beef. We'll see chickens. We're going to see it all right here. And the Ag-Sperience doesn't look like a lot right now because not everybody's in here. But this is the opening of the Ag-Sperience. And we really want everybody to come down, say hi to us. We're going to be featuring a lot of different groups here as well, Cheryl.
We're going to cover it all. But before the fair gets started, they've been having advanced sales, and a lot has already been going on here. Today, they're receiving the non-perishable items that are going to be on display. So there's a lot of hustle and bustle already, and they had a couple community-related offerings where they had, if you donated blood, you got a free pass to the fair. If you brought 4 cans of food for the food bank, you got a voucher and a discount off another ticket. So there's a lot of community-oriented things that they did before the fair to kick it off.
Because they want as many people to come to the fair, of course, as possible. The big attraction for the Food and Farm Show, of course, is the agriculture and the youth that's involved in the fair. We'll be having stories on the 4-H 100-year anniversary that they're having this year. Also, FFA, which you've already talked to some of the leaders of when we were at the Farmers Bureau picnic.
The picnic, right.
And so one of those girls actually went on to win the state title for her chickens, and we'll be talking with her and seeing how she did her routine with her chicken. Also, the Nevada County Grown is going to be here, the Nevada County Farm Bureau. Everybody's going to be right here in Ag-Sperience, and we'll be able to bring you all those stories.
On tonight's program, we have part 4 of the 2013 Ag Tour, and we also have Janey Powers and Backyard Chickens.
And we'll also be talking to some of the fair administrators here as they prepare for what will be the biggest and best fair ever.
As our fairgrounds has been named California's most beautiful fairgrounds, and it's all going to come to life next week. Be sure to watch us every Monday night, 6:30 p.m., Channel 11 and 16 and ACTV 20, and of course on our YouTube channel, The Food and Farm Show, where you can watch it anytime you want. We're going to take our first break. Stick around. You're watching The Food and Farm Show on the Touchdown Productions Network.
Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions. Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply is dedicated to the health of your pets and livestock. They offer the top brands of nutrition and carry the complete line of products from Bar Ale and Purina animal feeds along with Diamond and Canaday. They carry rice and wheat hay bales for your gardening needs, as well as alfalfa, grass hay, and grain for your livestock. It's Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply, supporting Nevada County agriculture since 1992.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A to Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A to Z Supply.
It's time to visit the newly remodeled B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. The new B&C has completely changed for your shopping convenience. Their new expanded garden center has everything you need, including expert advice on trees, shrubs, and perennials. Check out their new website and the new spring hours. And thank you for voting B&C the best hardware and building supply in 2012. So start right, start here at B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. Taking a look here at an antique log skidder, which is right here at the entrance of the Ag-Sperience, where we'll be headquartered here for all next week. Joining me is Deputy Manager of the fair, Robin Hoek. Robin, thanks a lot for spending some time here with the Food and Farm Show.
Yes, I'm happy to do it. Thank you.
Now, this is a big week for everybody here on staff, just days away. How are all the preparations going?
Well, not that you've taken any shots, but we've got tents going up and bleachers being moved and all kinds of stuff. Today specifically, though, is our receiving day for our still exhibits. So it's very busy towards the front of the fairgrounds, getting everything ready for judging. Once the judging is done, then we're able to start setting up the buildings. So that's why we start this early.
And of course, we're here at the Ag-Sperience, and this is going to be really the hub of a lot of agricultural activities.
Yeah, we have several different local organizations and entities that are agriculturally related, such as the Farm Bureau, FFA, 4-H. We also have Sierra Grape Growers, the Nevada County Grown, Apple, Forestry, and they all do displays. They have people there that they'll do some activities with the public when they come in, but it's all geared towards agricultural education.
And what a great way to come in. It's kind of like a one-stop shop of everybody who's agriculture in the county.
Yeah, and they can answer your questions. They have seminars. Master gardeners are here. They do a lot of growing and planting seminars. Resource Conservation District, they talk about, the grasslands and those kind of things. And we've incorporated the fur and feathers, which is the rabbits and the poultry, because we have an embryology project here. So you can come every day and check out the hatching, the baby chicks hatching from the eggs, and we set up straw bales, and you can actually sit there and just watch it happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching paint dry.
Yeah, moments.
As the chicks emerge. And actually, we're going to try and do some time-lapse photography on that so people can see that come out, the chicken come out, because that's very interesting.
Yes, no, people love it. I mean, the kids are just fascinated, and we have a huge incubator over there with glass sides, so people get, their nose right up there watching.
Now, of course, the Ag-Sperience is right here on the side of the fairgrounds where a lot of the livestock exhibits are as well.
Yes, this is actually our livestock area, and all of the barns. Ag-Sperience is almost central between all of the different barns, the different species of animals.
So you'll be able to come in, and we'll be looking at some of the showmanship trials that happen in swine, in beef. Do chickens have showmanship too?
They actually do, and so do the rabbits.
So lots of fun, and of course, as you saw earlier, or you'll see later, Cheryl was standing in front of Whitney Hall, and that's where the big livestock auction happens on Sunday.
Correct, and that is our swine barn during the fair. But yes, the auction ring is held in there, and everything is sold through the auction.
So there's lots of stuff happening all week long here at the fair. And the agriculture, really, people lose sight of it nowadays. But in the beginning, this was the backbone of the whole fair experience, was the agriculture.
Yes, it was, because, the farmers would compete against each other with their prize boars or prize bulls or, whatever. And it was to get their name known for those specific species. Again, a prize boar or a bull or a ram, you're known because you would want to bring your animals to that rancher to have them bred and to have that bloodline, carried on. So that's very important. And then, also all the produce, the vegetables and the fruits, and which leads into cakes and pies and jams and jellies. They all compete. Neighbors competed against neighbors.
Right, and one of the things that's going on here, of course, all week long is the educational process.
Everything's educational, because as the public comes and even watches the livestock being judged, the judges always talk about why they placed what animal where, and so it's very educational to the exhibitors themselves, but also to the public, so they can gain some knowledge as to what's happening and why certain animals are chosen over others.
And of course, this is all part of the agricultural district, and I believe, what are we, the 47th district?
No, we are the 17th District Agricultural Association.
Okay. Well, see, I'm getting educated right there. So that's, do we know how many there are in the whole state?
There 52 DAAs, District Agricultural Associations, 52, 54. There's a couple we lost. A total of 78 fairs in the state of California right now.
So how big is our district then? What does that 17th district look like? What are the boundaries?
What are the boundaries? Meaning we have almost 100 acres here?
No, I meant in the whole district. Is this an agricultural district unto itself? Like, does it stretch to all of Nevada County, or up to Siskiyou or Sierra, or down to Lassen, or, where's our district at?
We represent the county of Nevada.
Okay.
Yes, just Nevada County.
So the 17th district then is Nevada County. Does that include Truckee as well and everything?
Correct. Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah. Nevada County, California.
Go figure.
we a lot of times are asked if we're the Nevada State Fair.
Right, because people get that name confused. Now, for you, you're a relative newcomer here to the community, and when Sandy Woods was promoted, you applied for the job and you got that. How much fun has that been for you?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, in the fair industry, we all know each other anyway, and who wouldn't want to come to Nevada County, fairgrounds? I mean, California's most beautiful fairgrounds. I'm originally from Placer County, so I didn't come too far, but I grew up hiking and rodeoing in Penn Valley and showing animals at different fairs and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And now you get to be the deputy manager and help run the whole thing.
Yes, it's a great job, a beautiful surroundings, and actually what I say is that I'm back home, so it's wonderful.
Time for our second break of the day. When we come back, it's another segment with Backyard Chickens and Janey Powers. You're watching the Food and Farm Show right here on the Touchdown Productions Network.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply is dedicated to the health of your pets and livestock. They offer the top brands of nutrition and carry the complete line of products from Bar Ale and Purina animal feeds, along with Diamond and Canaday. They carry rice and wheat hay bales for your gardening needs, as well as alfalfa, grass hay, and grain for your livestock. It's Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply, supporting Nevada County agriculture since 1992.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A to Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A to Z Supply.
Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions. Behind me is sure to be one of the more popular places here at the fair. It's where the silent auction is going to take place for chickens and rabbits and small animals. A lot of fun to see these animals all during the fair. They'll be here, and a perfect segue to bring you Janey Powers and more Backyard Chickens.
And every day after that first week, or every week, you reduce the temperature by 5 degrees. So the first week it's 95, the second week it's 90, etc., until pretty soon you don't need it anymore. You cannot use a regular light bulb, even if you've got one from the old days that actually put out some heat. The new light bulbs don't put out any heat. You must have a light bulb that is 250 watts. Nothing else will give you the amount of heat. So don't bring your chicks home and unscrew a light bulb that you've had from someplace else and put it in your brooder lamp. It will not get up to 95 degrees. Now the bulbs, the 250 watt bulbs, the best place to buy it is at the feed store when you buy your equipment. You can get red bulbs or you can get white bulbs. The red bulbs are a little less glary. You can sort of decide which one you think you like. Okay, why do I have that in there? Okay, now the chicks will tell you if they are too warm or too hot. If the chicks are too cold, they will all bundle together to try to get warm. Now this is very cute, except there's, in the bottom of this pile is a chick who may suffocate. So you do not want your chicks piled up like this, even though it's cute. If you see this going on, then check your lamp and check your thermometer. If you don't have a thermometer, you can just look at the chicks and they will tell you if things are right. If it's too hot, the chicks will fan out and try to get as far away from that heat source as they can because it's just too hot for them. And believe me, you can freeze your chicks and you can cook your chicks. Yeah, we don't want that. So keep this in mind because these are all easy things, but you don't want to neglect them because even though they're simple, if you neglect any of these little rules that go along with it, you will have problems with your chicks. A too cold chick will develop a chill and it will develop a respiratory infection, and you don't want that. A too hot chick will become dehydrated, and a dehydrated chick is not a healthy chick. This is just right. These chicks are so happy. They're lounging around. They will be chirping. They will be laying down. You will just be able to tell that they are totally contented. And this is what you want. You want chicks that look like that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about feeding the chicks. And here are some little cuties eating out of two different types of feeders. This is one particular type right here. These are cool. They come in designer colors. So you can have cool, you can have all green, you can have pot pink, you can do a mix of it. You know, this is not the chickens of your grandmother's time. You know, you can get all this. This has a jar like this that can screw onto here. This is your waterer. And this is the perfect size to start off with your baby chicks. And also, you can get feeders like this. Supposedly, they will open like this, but I have found that once you feed them and you're opening them, the feed goes like that. So the best thing to do is just to pour the feed in, right in through there. They come in different sizes. They also come in metal. So you can do all metal for a metallica look, or you can combine the different colors like this. So there's one of your metal feeders. So a good feeder prevents the chickens from roosting over or scratching in the feed. And one of the totally cute things that will happen when you get your new chicks, you will get this. The baby chicks will actually crawl in here and peek out the other side. So you know when this is too small, when they get stuck in there, so you know it's time to move to something bigger. But you don't want them to be able to sit in the feed because you know what they're doing while they're sitting in there. Also, it has a lip. You know, you're saying, what is billing out? I'm sorry, it's not bailing out, it's billing. That's a little typo. You can see it a little bit more on these feeders and waters. It has a little rolled edge, and that keeps the chicks, because even when they're babies, they already know how to scratch and how to and chickens and chicks will take their beaks and they'll go like this because they're thinking that maybe something's better at the bottom of the feeder than it is at the top. So they move this out of the way. And if they can, they will get in there and they will take their little chicken feet and they will scratch, scratch, scratch. And then you say, oh my gosh, what happened to all the feed? Well, it's mixed in with all the litter. So what you want to do is raise it up because you want to keep it about the level of the chick's back. If it's that high, then they will not build and they will not jump into it. And it makes it easy for them to do. You can just get a little block of wood and you can gradually raise it up. However, these plastic feeders, they are not that heavy, so as your chicks get older, they will have a tendency to overturn them. And so you may want to think about getting the heavier metal feeder, or what I did with my plastic feeder, I just nailed it to a piece of wood so that it gave it some weight and stability so they couldn't turn it over. And also you want something that is easy to clean. This is one of the most important things with either your chicks or your chickens, is that you keep things clean. And you would be surprised how many people just don't do that. I mean, it's always amazing the calls that I get from people. So tell me, is this a good feeder or is it not? Well, you're right. It's an ingenious feeder because they made it out of PVC pipe cut in half. So somebody was very clever, but what's going to happen? The chicks are going to be in there, they're going to be scratching the feed out, they're going to be lounging in that, they're going to be having a wonderful time, but you are not going to. So, if you want to know what size feeder to get, usually the way to figure it is 1 slot per chick. It doesn't hurt to have more slots, but you want at least 1. So if you had 5 chicks, this would definitely be a large and plenty of feed for this. This one has 2, 4, 6, 8 slots. So this would be a good size for anything up from 2 chicks all the way up to 6 chicks. I wouldn't do this for 8 chicks. I'd probably go to a bigger feeder. Then you want to switch to a larger feeder, or if you're using the plastic ones, nail it to a board to give it more stability, because you don't want the chicks to start turning it over and dragging it around and so forth. If you do switch to another feeder, leave the old feeder there next to the new feeder, because remember, there's not much going on up there, and they will be wondering what happened to their old feeder, even though the new feeder is right next to it. It's not the same, and they won't be able to figure it out. They talk about hanging tube type feeders. This is a hanging feeder. Now, you would not put this size feeder in with your chicks. It would be tremendous, but they do make them in smaller sizes, so keep that in mind. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So, what is the problem with that feeder on the left? How would you like to come in and your chicks are gone? Where did they go? They disappeared. They're inside the feeder. And they can figure out how to get in, but they can't figure out how to get out. So any type of feeder like this, the tube type feeder, you need some type of a lid on it. Now the feeder up there, you can see that it has this type of dome-shaped lid, or you can put, if it's hanging on a chain, you can put a lid up like over there on the right, and if the chick jumps up, the lid wiggles back and forth and it can't stay. Notice they're dome-shaped because if the chick jumps up there, it will slide off. Now, I bought a feeder, and there are still some that are available, the medium size, and even this feeder. Even when you're using that and they're just a few days old, you will come in and somebody is playing King of the Hill, and they are sitting on top of this feeder, and they love it. You know, they love to do this. But what are they doing? Yes. So what you can do is take some kind of a funnel, and you can tape it on the top. And if you have the larger feeder or water that's flat on the top, get one of those big funnels like you use down to change the oil on your car, and you can tape it on with that famous duct tape that keeps them off. So you can be a little bit ingenious because you are smarter than the chicks. Okay, feed. Keep in mind, they used to have feed, it was called starter feed, and then you fed that to your chick until it was 6 to 8 weeks old, and then you switched to grower feeder. But now they have feed that's called starter grower feed, and you can feed that to them from 1 day to 20 weeks. Now 20 weeks is how many months? 5 months, that's right. That is a long time. I had a lady call me today, and she said, there is something wrong with my pullets. And I said, tell me. And she said, well, she seems to be having problem with her abdomen, and she gets up and she takes a few steps and then she sits back down. Okay, I mean, that could be a lot of things, right? So we explored different options, and I said, what are you feeding this? Because this is a, she called it a pullet, but and it was 3 months old. That is not 5 months, that is 3 months. And I said, what are you feeding these? She said, well, I have a bowl of layer food over here because she had some older hens in, and I have some starter feed, grower food over here. And I said, so what's happening? She said, well, they seem to know that this food over here is for them, so they don't eat the food that's over here for the hens. And I said, really? You have Einstein of chickens out there. So what happens if you feed your chicks, let's see, layer food, even in an emergency, it is not good. People say, so what? Layer food is made for your hens that are producing eggs. They need a lot of calcium in their food to produce the shells for their eggs. Chicks do not need that. Chicks need less calcium and more protein because they're growing. If chicks are fed layer feed, they can have problems with their kidneys and their livers. This is what was going on with her chickens because she thought she was doing the right thing by offering them both, thinking that they would know that this is for them over here, that they would not eat the big girl food, that they would eat the baby girl food. But they didn't know that. So fortunately, I'm hoping anyway that her hen or her pullet will be okay. I said, take them away, take that Layina crumbles out because it's just not right for it. If you should run out of chick feed and you do have layer feed, do not be tempted to give it to your chicks. You can make up an emergency feed. You can take some uncooked oatmeal. You can run it through a blender and then mix it 50-50 with cornmeal as an emergency. In fact, I would suggest that when you're getting your equipment together to buy a little box of oatmeal and a box of cornmeal, just put it in your pantry just for emergencies, because you never know when something might happen. You might think that you have a lot of food, and then you may go out there some Saturday night, there's no food, there's no stores open on Sunday, and you've got 24 hours of no food. So just keep that handy, but don't use it to replace your starter grower food, because all these foods that you buy, these commercial foods, they have been specifically designed to work the best for the age of chicken that they're designed for. So remember that. It's worth the effort to give them the right kind of food. And we talked about that when we were talking about your hens. You want them to have the right food because what they put in comes out in the eggs, and you're going to be eating the eggs, so you want them to be the best possible quality that you can get. Now, waterers, this one on the left is one that you want to start off your chicks with. Here it is. I suggest that you put this in and put like a saucer or something under it, because they will get it wet, and you don't want them to get the litter wet, because then you have to change the litter. So make it easier on yourself. Put some kind of a saucer so if they do spill it out, you can lift it up and get it out of the way. Now the one on the right is the water that I was talking about. This is sort of your graduation from the tiny waterer to the bigger water before they actually move to the big girl waterers over here. Now, see what I mean about the top? It's flat. This is where a nice funnel or something that has a cone shape to it that they can't perch on. And believe me, even if it's a cone and it's got a little bit of a spot on the top, they will figure out a way to get up there. They're smart in that area. Now, the problem with this particular waterer that you see here, it's right on the litter. So what's going to happen? They're going to be out there scratching, and you're going to come, and the water is going to be full of wet litter that you're going to have to clean. So this is why, remember, to keep the feeder and the water at the level of the chick's back, and you will have a lot less trouble keeping it clean. So make it as easy on yourself as you can. So this is all in your handouts. You want to clean your water every day, especially with chicks, because it's important to keep them as healthy as you can. You can buy, these are electrolytes. You can buy them, and it explains on the package how much that you put in. If it's for a gallon, then you just figure it out. You know, you can work the math on how much you need to put into a quart waterer. And you change this every day. That's very important, because this doesn't work after a day. And don't make it up in advance. Make it up when you need it. It's not very expensive. It's $3.49, and you can figure out, like, if this makes a gallon, I would pour it into a little dish, then figure out how many teaspoons are in here, and figure out how much you need to put in a quart. And give this to them for the first week that they are born. It will really make a big difference. And remember, you're putting a lot of effort into these chicks. I mean, you've already put a lot of effort in just getting ready for them and spending all this time going through the Murray McMurray catalog and shopping online, trying to figure out what you want to get. I mean, this is an investment on your part. So don't lose faith. Don't get lazy as it goes along. Keep involved. Keep involved. And you will have 100% rate on your chicks. You know, if you read the chicken books, it says you buy chicks, you're going to have 20% of your chicks die before they're a few weeks old. Not if you keep them clean, keep them warm and out of drafts. And make it easy on yourself, make it easy to clean. Okay, now we talked about this already. We know why this one on the right is going to need some help when you get to that stage. Now, what about this one? Here it is right here. Let's say that you have a big enough space and your chicks are about 2 weeks old. They're already making a mess of this little guy, and you say, well, why do I want to get an intermediate waterer? I'll just use the one that I'm going to use for them when they're older. Why? What would you need to do to this to make it okay for a 2-week-old chick to use? Or a week-old chick? This is too deep. This is too deep. They can get into this. They can actually drown in this much water. So if you're going to use this, you fill this up with pebbles or marbles or whatever, so they can still get the drink, but they can't get in here and get themselves wet and get into trouble. So this feeder would not work for your chicks. Even though it's adjustable, they would be in here. They'd probably crawl inside. Who knows? You know, you'd say, what happened to my chicks? They're wandering around inside your feeder, something like that, or they're climbing around. So water is even more important than feed. They need it all the time, and they should have clean water, just like you. You know, you don't want to drink slimy water, and so you don't want your chicks to have slimy water either. So let's talk a little bit about chick health. The prevention is the key for your chicks. And the way you do it is you have everything ready. We talked about that. You want to keep them warm. You want to start them out at 95 degrees and lower that temperature 5 degrees every week. You want to watch them. You don't want to go off and leave them alone. You want to step in every once in a while and be sure that that light is working properly, that thermometer is working, and you want to tweak that little chain that it's hanging on. That's the best way to do it, is to hang that light from a chain, and then it's got a little S-hook on it. So if it's at 95 down here, you just take that S-hook up, you bring it up a few links on the chain, you watch your thermometer until you get it at the right thing. It takes a little bit of time to tweak it, but once you get it set, it's okay. Keep the litter clean. This won't be a problem. What you do, we talked about it, how you put your layer down about like this, then you put your paper towels over the top until they get used to eating. Then you take the paper towels off, and the litter should be fine. You might need to add a little bit unless it gets wet. If it gets wet, then you have to take it out and start. But if you put the saucer under your waterer, it should be okay. And just watch for signs of problems. The chicks should be walking around, they should be peeping, they should be flying their little wings, they should be flying king of the mountain on top of the blocks of wood that you put in there. If there's a chick huddled over in the corner, he's not looking so good, then that's a problem. You know, you have to watch for that. Common problems that you might have with your chicks, and again, keep in mind that chicks are very sturdy. They can be dehydrated, so when you get your chicks, especially if you get them from the mail order, the first thing you do when you get them home, and you've got everything set, right? You've already turned on your light, so it's 95 degrees. You've already mixed up your water with your enzymes in it. Then what you do is, as you take them out of the mail order box, you hold them and you dip their little beaks in the water, and you see their throats move, so you know they're getting water. That's the first thing you do, and then you put them into the brooder. That way you know that they've gotten a good drink. A chill, you can keep an eye on brooder temperature. Now, if you've ordered again from mail order, you don't know what they've been through. They could be chilled. And one of the ways you can see that is they might have what's known as pasty butt or sticky butt, an attractive name, and we'll talk about that. And another problem that you might have with your chicks, and this happens if you raise them on something that is too slippery. So you do not raise your chicks on newspaper, it's just too slippery. Here's pasty butt, it's attractive. It's simply what it says it is. They make a poop, and because they've been stressed or they've been dehydrated, the poop doesn't fall on the ground, it sticks on their little butts, and it dries up, and then they can't poop anymore because the entrance is blocked. So you take them very gently, and you get some warm water, you put their little butts under the warm water, and you slowly loosen that little sticky stuff until it washes off. Do not pick it off. These are very tender-skinned little guys.
Thanks a lot, Janey. More great information on chickens, and of course all the presenters here at the fair certainly have that knowledge and are gaining more knowledge every week on how to raise their chickens and raise some beautiful chickens, as we'll see on next week's show. Time for our second break of the day. When we come back, we're back on the bus. It's the Nevada County Ag Tour coming your way right here on the Food and Farm Show. Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
It's time to visit the newly remodeled B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. The new B&C has completely changed for your shopping convenience. Their new expanded garden center has everything you need, including expert advice on trees, shrubs, and perennials. Check out their new website and the new spring hours. And thank you for voting B&C the best hardware and building supply in 2012. So start right, start here at B&C True Value Home and Garden Center.
Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. Behind me is the Whitney Pavilion, which is a relatively new addition to the fairgrounds. And this is where the livestock are stationed and the FFA and 4-H kids auction off their livestock. So right now, we're getting back on the bus for the 2013 Ag Tour.
So those are Anconas, Welsh Harlequin, and magpies. And those are being raised for eggs. So we're building a kind of like a mobile chicken tractor deal or duck tractor, and we'll be able to harvest the eggs and sell those to probably chefs and stuff like that.
Oh, great. So you did just eggs?
Just eggs. And so we grow the row crop, then we move the animals through, and then behind that we'll till and grow flowers. Yeah. So let's see some pigs.
Have you ever sell like suckling pigs?
We haven't. We mostly let them get nice and big. Yeah, that's most people. They're worth more to me that way.
What size and weight?
Well, close to like 280 pounds.
We got ours. We had a Berkshire. Because my son used to do that.
That fence is on, Jan. You do?
Yeah, what did we let her get used?
Yeah. Okay, so the fence is off, and just real briefly, this is the future of Dinner Bell Farm. We raise two types of pigs. One's called a mule foot, so the black ones are mule foot. It's got a non-cloven hoof. It's a Spanish-American breed, and it's known for the quality of its ham. And then the furry one rolling around in the mud down there, that's called a Mongolitsa. Mongolitsa, and it's a Hungarian breed pig that's for lard, charcuterie. And it's mostly made up of mono unsaturated fat, so it melts at a totally different temperature, and it's very good for sausage, things of that nature. What I'll say, and Roger knows all about this, the biggest challenge for me as a small farmer raising livestock truly is the slaughter process. Where do we take our animals? What's the availability? Is there availability? What is the quality of the work? That truly inhibits my ability to grow as a small farm. So I don't know who's here in this crowd, but I do want to articulate that point because that has been the biggest challenge. And what if New American in Sacramento closes down? I'm done. Chickens, I'm done. If I can't find a place to bring the pigs and for them to do a high quality work, then I'm not able to raise pigs. Yes, sir.
Where do you go to get your pigs?
Well, there's a slaughterhouse in Modesto called Stagnos.
How long a round trip is that?
Oh gosh. The challenge, Roger, is that you have to pick them up the next day. So it's not one trip, it's two trips.
Okay.
And so it's at least a 5-hour round trip.
So probably about 400 miles total.
Yes, sir. There's also wolf pack meets in Reno, and there's maybe one in Johansson's.
Oh.
Availability is almost impossible in all of these facilities. So that is a challenge. But for us, the pigs are perfect for this type of farming environment in that they have almost no interest in grain, corn, feed. They have more interest in forage, what they can find on the farm, bread from a baker, barley from a brewer, and milk from a dairy. So other than the chickens and the organic feed, which the price just keeps going up, we're able to acquire feed and pasture and move the animals and hopefully in the future make a living. So maybe we'll walk on back.
How old are these pigs?
These guys are, this little one down here is just a couple months old. The one rubbing its tush right there is almost 5 months old. The Mongolitsa takes 14 months to get to the proper size, flavor. The mule foot takes 11. So what I don't buy feed, but it takes a much longer time. Yes. Yeah. You can't get in with the pigs, Corbin. Yeah, will you throw them a few loaves of bread for me? Thanks, Corbin. Those are pistachio trees, but I do not have a male tree, so they're unfertile.
Is that why you use the pigs down in this area?
I use the pigs everywhere.
Oh, you do?
I move them constantly. So these pigs will be moved. They're only in the same block for 10 days. You can believe that they really make themselves at home. Yeah.
Look.
What got it? I like sausage. But truly, Roger, they are the future, and that no animals eat them. There's no predators. They are very hardy. They just much less time, less intensive of an animal than, say, chickens. But chickens got us in the door. Chickens built the farm, but now we have to try and find a way to make it last for a long time. Yeah. We move it with this, it's called a underground cable. It's just a single strand of wire that's wrapped in insulation. Yes. Yeah, it's just laying on. Oh, she's going to flip around right there. Great. Our hope is to continue to, like I said, Roger, find a way to make this sustainable and find a way to make a living and to continue to dial in production and find the things that will allow us to do that. But we envision this as a teaching farm, as a place for people to come here to learn, to be doing farm dinners like Joe talked about, to really make this more, that's really why we called it Dinner Bell, was that it's more than just a place. In our minds it's an idea, and so hopefully, lots of people can come out here and be a part of it.
One more question. Now, are you doing some stuff with this as well?
Yeah, so we leased 20 acres from the beer wagons, and no one gets that'd be tough energy. That was an arbor for a wedding. There was a dance floor underneath that. And so we're not a wedding venue. Don't want to be. When you guys are driving by, just out the road here on the very left-hand side, there's the flower field. We also grow a lot of flowers over in our perennial kind of garden area, so you'll see Josh, I think, is out there harvesting right now, so you'll see him, and hopefully you all wave. And, Molly does do flowers for weddings, events, things of that nature. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And last thing I'll say is you're always welcome to come back and to see the farm and to tour yourself. And we're always here. We're always here.
On the Ag Tour today, with me is the Nevada County Farm Bureau President, Sue Hoek. And Sue, thanks for spending some time here on the Food and Farm Show.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's been a great day, hasn't it?
It has been so much fun. Now, how long has this been going on?
Well, we've had this. We used to do it every other year, and then this is the fourth year in a row we've done it now so far. So hopefully next year it'll go on. As we see, we had 60 people on it today, which is a thrill. It's fun for people to get out and see what's going on in this different necks of the wood in Nevada County. Look at all the different things we saw today and what different types of farming goes on. So we're excited. Hopefully next year maybe we'll get to Nevada City or up North San Juan, or we'll spread it out. People can keep coming and seeing what we're doing.
Well, we started the day with agriculture, going up to Rollins Lake and learning some information from NID and a little bit of the history of water in Nevada County. And, of course, as you know, water is so important to any agricultural movement.
Isn't it incredible to think that back in the 1920s that they had the foresight to put this up? Well, it actually is earlier than that, in the 1900s, as he was talking about 1915. But and Farm Bureau was instrumental at that time, too. So Farm Bureau has been around Nevada County a long time, working for the rights and advocating for agriculture in this county. So water is just tremendous. It's always going to be, that's probably the most valued product that anybody could have around here. So, and if you got to have water to farm.
You do, and this is a source of water origin. So even when they have droughts or restrictions down in the cities like Los Angeles or whatever, sources of water origin aren't affected by that, are they?
Oh, yes. We all were. I mean, conservation is probably key priority with anybody in agriculture. That is top. I mean, same thing. If we don't have water for our crops, I mean, so if there's going to be a drought and there's a problem with people in the city, it starts here. I mean, we're going to cut back too and figure out ways to keep all of our crops watered or animals watered. So yeah, no, it affects everybody right down the chain, even though we're in such an incredible watershed. I mean, there's a lot of water here. It's amazing what we have created and what they took into consideration in gathering the water rights as it went. And you talked about the FERC process, what they're going through. I mean, they've spent a lot of money to try and get this all taken care of, And it's just, it's our way of life is to have water. So luckily somebody's still following through and doing it.
Right, although I wouldn't imagine that they would continue to pump the water south if it ever got to that, so where we needed the water here.
Okay, well, there is a priority. What happens, people get water first. So if it was ever that situation, it goes people, animals, crops. I mean, there's a chain of where the water would go. So if it was that bad, yeah, there would still be water going there. But hopefully that would only be for drinking and those types of things, not for people to water their lawns or wash their cars and those types of things. There's always going to be a certain amount of give and take, no matter what industry you're in.
Well, residents would always be able to go down to the river and get a bucket or a gallon, or there's Bitney Springs that flows constantly.
But what if it didn't?
Yeah.
What if it didn't? With springs and wells dry up around this country, we have such a interesting topography in this whole area that water's not ever a certain thing anywhere. So we all have to conserve and do our part.
Well, let's talk about Farm Bureau for a second. As you said, Farm Bureau was instrumental in the creation of NID and their plans. So you are carrying on the rich tradition as being the president this year.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of what Farm Bureau does. We work hard. I think that what most people need to know is that agriculture is all-encompassing. It doesn't matter whether you're a big farmer, whether you're a small farmer. There's always going to be things we don't agree on. But if you're going to be strong, we need to always stay united, because we're all having to deal with restrictions and regulations. I mean, those are things we've got to work through. But the only ways to get strong and have those changed is to be a force, unfortunately, through government, is to get them changed. So, yeah, my grandparents were Farm Bureau and my great-grandparents were Farm Bureau. So, yeah, I'm still Farm Bureau.
And that's awesome. So how many members are in the Farm Bureau? Is that something that you can just sign up for or be a member? Or
Correct. We have two kinds. We have agricultural membership, and we also have associate membership for people that aren't in Farm Bureau. There's a lot of benefits to Farm Bureau, whether it's some of our programs that you can take advantage of, like propane or those kind of things. But agricultural memberships, of course, we're grassroots. It's a membership-driven organization, and we welcome membership into this group and input, new ideas, new thoughts, people that come with different ideas about how agriculture and how things should be. I think that's a really important thing right now, that Farm Bureau is looking for that kind of thing.
So how would somebody get in touch with you, get involved with either kind of membership?
Well, we have a website, NevadaCountyFarmBureau.com, and you can go there. You could call Darlene. You could look on the Ag Commissioner website. You can look in the Nevada County Grown
Farm Guide.
Farm Guide. So yeah, we're pretty easy to find. So anytime, look for somebody, find me somewhere, and I'll be glad to sign you up.
And then, is there a reason why we couldn't have 2 farm tours a year? Maybe one like in this time frame and another, because every time frame has their different characteristics out on the farm.
Oh, that's a good point, and I'd have to run that by everybody. It's a lot of work getting this thing organized, for one thing. As fall comes to, things are winding up and everybody gets busy, but it's not out of the realm. It's really exciting. Like I said, I'm happy to see it come once a year if we could get that done.
Well, that's just a question coming from a rookie right here, enjoying myself so much on today's farm tour. thinking, well, God, why can't we do this twice a year and get together? And it must be different crowds that come to this. I mean, I saw we had 2 supervisors here today.
We did, and it's interesting. I see some faces that are regulars that have been to all 4. I have some people, they didn't make it this year. They make it, can't wait for the next one next year. So it probably depends on the day that it falls and all those kinds of things. But yeah, it keeps growing. Like I said, last year we had 40. We have 60 people that made it this year. So, and I think everybody enjoyed themselves.
They do, and it's a really diverse. There's farmers, PG&E is here, supervisors, planning commission people. Of course, our ag advisor, Robert Ingram and Jeff Pileman are here from the ag office. I mean, just a cross section of everybody.
They're all what makes ag work in this community. So, we all have to work together, so that's the best part of it. And what a great opportunity for somebody in planning to go out and see what's going on in agriculture. Kind of gives them a heads up what's going. Roger and Ingram and Jeff Pileman, they are just an awesome asset to this county and Placer County for Roger too. They make agriculture happen here. I mean, really, they put their blood, sweat, and tears. We are blessed to have them on the payroll, let me tell you.
Once again, Roger falls in the footsteps of some other ag advisors that we've had that have really been instrumental in the county as well.
Oh, yeah. I think as far back as I can remember. Jeff, we're just really enjoying having him as the ag advisor, and we hope that Roger doesn't retire anytime soon either. And now we better catch the bus.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for spending a few minutes with us here, and thank you for hosting the ag tour and providing everything that you did today.
Good deal. Well, thanks for filming the whole thing and sharing it with other people in the county. Next year, maybe somebody else will want to go on the ag tour. Maybe one of these days we'll have 2 buses instead of 1.
There you go. Come on out to the ag tour next year. Thanks a lot, Sue.
Right on. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. Of course, Susan is the president of the Nevada County Farm Bureau, and right behind us is going to be their home for the whole week.
Yes, it is. It's going to be everyone's home here for a week, and you're always glad to see the fair come, and you're happy to see it go, because by week 5, day 5, you are totally spent here. And all the organizations, FFA, 4-H, they prepare all year for this, Cheryl, and then it all comes down to that 5-day crunch period, right. And you get everything judged, and then you're completely exhausted, and then you start on next year. But Nevada County Farm Bureau, very significant partner in bringing the ag tour, and it was great that Susan was able to spend some time with us.
Really great. So be sure and catch us every Monday night at 6:30 p.m., Channel 11 and 16 and ACTV Channel 20. And we are on YouTube 24/7 at our YouTube channel, which is the Food and Farm Show. So until next week when we are at the fair.
Be sure to come out and say hi to us. The Touchdown Production truck will be right here at the Ag-Sperience, and Cheryl will be here off and on during the week, as well as the rest of the Food and Farm crew.
Till then, bye.
Be sure to join us each week right here on NCTV Channel 11 at 6:30 to 7:30, and of course on our YouTube channel, The Food and Farm Show.